Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be when time catches up with the narcissist. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So, Father Time keeps ticking on. We are all growing older. Some of us are growing wiser. The narcissist is deteriorating. You see, all of the damage that they've inflicted upon everybody that they've encountered throughout their whole life is coming back to haunt them. It's coming back to roost in their tiny little brain. It's coming back and opening that skeleton of closet, that closet of skeletons that they've been trying to keep closed shut year after year, decade after decade. But as I mentioned, Father Time keeps ticking on. And as we are growing educated and awakened, empowered and aware, what do you think these people are doing? What do you think the toxic people are doing? The only thing they're doing is looking for another host, another person to manipulate, another person to trick and to trap, another person to place in that narcissistic fog, another person to sell a bill of goods, another person to hoodwink and to take whatever they can, another person to put a roof over their head, another person to play the victim card to. You see, to the narcissist, this place called Earth, it's nothing but a huge stage. Everyone else, including you and myself, to the narcissist was looked at as an extra. We weren't looked at as their partner or their co-star or the leading man or leading woman or leading person. No, we were looked at as a pawn, a puppet, somebody who was expendable, somebody who eventually would be discarded, somebody who would be used and abused and manipulated and taken advantage of and taken super high in that roller coaster of emotions and dropped super low. You did not know what narcissism was. You weren't taught this. You didn't have the education. You didn't realize that another person could profess to you that they wanted to grow old with you, or they wanted to have children, or they wanted to go into business, or they wanted to spend the rest of their life with you. You didn't realize that when somebody said that they could not mean it. You perhaps grew up in a time period of the Walt Disney-esque age, which is when everyone believed that everyone lived happily ever after, and Prince Charming was just around the corner, and the white knight in shining armor, and that Cinderella, the clock would strike 12 and everything would get. Well, we now know that Disney is just that. It's fantasy. This is your life. You didn't realize that another person had the ability to manipulate you and to have you fall for them. And then once you fell for them, that they would begin to pull back and extract all of your resources, which include your time, your energy, your effort, your money, love, your relationships, your health, your hobbies, your hopes, dreams, aspirations, goals, your purpose, and anything I didn't mention. That's why when the clock strikes 12 for the narcissist, Father Time does not leave anybody behind. Each and every one of us are going to leave the planet one day or another. And what the narcissist is doing there is they're up against the clock. They're trying to damage as many people as they possibly can throughout this thing called life before they leave the planet. Now you may say, wow, Andrew, that's a little rough. Where do you get that from? Well, if you lived in the cycle, you know what I'm talking about. There's no love in these people. There's no empathy. There's no commitment. There's no togetherness. There's no growth. There is no we. All you get in these narcissistic relationships is one person, which was you, and it certainly was me, being groomed, tricked, trapped, and trained, and putting another person, i.e. the narcissist, high up on a pedestal to the detriment of ourselves. That's why I've mentioned in so many videos, we were the walking apology. We were the walking ATM, we were the sounding board, we were the cook, the cleaner, the unpaid helper, we were the person who regulated them. We were treated less than a complete stranger when we were in that relationship. Think about this, I've said it for years. How often did the narcissist walk 10, 20, or 30 yards in front of you when you were going somewhere? Probably more than you ever could remember. There's no such thing as commitment, as holding hands, as being together. When the narcissist has what they want, they don't want it. When they don't have what they want to go after it if that person has something, which is what I call utility or an opportunity or something that can elevate the narcissist. But again, you weren't taught this in school. You didn't realize how humanity works. You're now understanding not only about narcissism, but about other humans, but you're learning about yourself also, and that you are a rare person. You're not cut from the same cloth as most people that you're thinking about right now. Of course, the narcissist, but I'm talking other people too. You probably were the white sheep of the family or the black sheep of the family, which means you were the person who was keeping peace in the family, in the household, and you were the person who would be putting out fires. Well, this is before you met the narcissist, or maybe you were grown up or brought up in a narcissistic family or household. But anyway you cut it, the narcissist saw who you were. They had an insurmountable advantage over you until they didn't. And that insurmountable advantage is called the sixth sense that they have. The narcissist is a predator, and they're a parasite, and they're looking for a host. They're looking for someone to trap and trick and keep placed in that narcissistic fog. And once they get that person, well, then they begin to pepper that person with abuse, more and more and more. And that person usually is trying to get back to the beginning of that relationship, which is known as the euphoric stage, or the love bomb stage, when you thought everything was going a little too good, because it was. You could never quite get back there. The reason why is because that's when the narcissist was wearing a mask to get you caught up in the narcissistic fog so they could cast that spell over you. I don't say that lightly. When you're in the narcissistic fog, it's as if someone cast a spell on you. It's as if someone placed you in a trance. And that is exactly what happened. That's what's known as the trauma bond. You were there, you didn't know how you got there, you weren't taught this in school. And when you were there, you were flailing, you were helpless, you were looking to your abuser to help you. You were looking to your abuser to try and go back to the old days, the beginning of the relationship. Well, you didn't know they were abusing you, you just knew that something was wrong, something was off, and you kept on putting out the fires that they were starting intentionally or unintentionally. Now you understand that your real life experience coupled with the definitions in the glossary on the narcissistic abusive cycle equals wisdom. This is a newfound wisdom. It's a newfound superpower that you've acquired or you are acquiring. You can't get this from watching a video. You can't get it from reading a book. You get it from going through the cycle and processing things and coupling your real life experiences with the definitions. And then you say to yourself, oh my gosh, that was gaslighting. That was triangulation. That was the smear campaign. That was a rage fit. That was the silent treatment. That was projection. That was mirroring. I can't believe this. How did I not know? Well, you weren't educated. Now you know. So having said that, you understand now that Father Time will continue to tick for all of us. But one thing the narcissist is running from, and there are many things, one thing is they're running from the past. They're running from people who figured out who they are. They're running from themselves. They're running from all the demons that are crawling around in their vast wasteland of a mind. They're running away from the pit that is within them. They are always looking for the next new shiny object. They're always looking for the next new thing. And they always believe that they will never be discovered, the truth will never come out, and that people won't have a voice. Well, truth be told, you are out of the relationship, unlike so many people who were in the relationship before you. You're out and you're healing, or you have healed, and you're putting yourself back together second by second, minute by minute, maybe week by week, month by month, but you're growing, you're learning, you're elevating, you're ascending, you're climbing, you're finding your purpose, and you're leaving the narcissist in the past. And as the clock continues to tick each and every day, we are growing older. I've said that 3 or 4 times. The narcissist is running from Father Time. They don't want this thing called life to expire. And you may say, well, actually they do. No, they don't. They get fuel from destroying people's lives. They get fuel from crushing people's hopes and dreams and driving wedges between their relationships, their purpose, their health, their hobbies, their money, and more. This is what fuels the narcissist. The narcissist needs supply. Supply can come from a pet, it can come from a job, it can come from a package, it can come from destroying someone's relationship, it can come from communicating with somebody, it can come from keeping someone stuck in the household even though they haven't been talked to in 3 months because they're given the silent treatment. This is fuel for the narcissist. You don't need supply. All you need is abundance, growth, commitment, direction, purpose, and you need to understand that cutting the ties is instrumental. That's why you are 1,000 times better off leaving these toxic people in the past and going no contact, blocking them, deleting them, removing them, and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. If not now, when? If you can't do that, I understand it. Utilize gray rock, get off the radar of the narcissist, become dull and boring, do not overshare information with people, and have a small footprint, and realize you'll have to create, develop, and prepare to execute your exit plan. That's what I did. I taught myself how to do it, and I helped so many people do it, and I've done so for so many years, and I will continue to do it. Because when you're trapped in the narcissistic household, or you're trapped in the cycle, or you're trapped in the rumination or the ruminating mindset, or you're trapped in the fog, any and or all of those aforementioned places, it is not a good space to be in. And the narcissist knows that, because they want to destroy your life. They want to trap you. They don't want you ever escaping that dungeon of horrors, that minefield of manipulation, that cesspool of toxicity. but you've done it or you're doing it. And that's why when time catches up with the narcissist, this will not be a pleasant experience for them. It's already caught up with them a few times. Probably when you were in the relationship, you just didn't see it because they didn't want you to see it, because they were too busy upholding the mask, letting you believe that they were super strong, they were bulletproof and impenetrable, and nothing got to them. Well, that's what they wanted you to see. But remember, when you weren't with them, you'll never know where they were. And when you weren't with them, many times this is when they go into those flea bag motels, or they'll go into their car and they'll drive a couple hours away, or they'll go to a guy's cabin, wink, wink, or a girl's weekend away, wink, wink, and maybe they'll just unplug there with or without people. But this is when they have to reset themselves one way or the other. And they need to say to themselves, wow, I'm really doing a lot of damage to these people that I'm in this current relationship with, which will expire. I'm away from them, and I now have to regroup. I can now look over my shoulder and realize that, yeah, Father Time is ticking. Yeah, I am getting gray hairs. Yes, I'm losing my skill set. I need to fine tune it. Oh, I remember what to do. I'll get on that dating app. I'll make a new bogus account and spy on my current spouse right now and try and lure them into the depths of hell where I exist. Or maybe I'll create a bogus account and try and draw new people into the web of manipulation that I'm creating. But anyway you cut it, and I'm acting like the narcissist, and of course I'm not. I need to bring my A game back because I got sloppy, and I'm getting worse and worse, and I can't keep it together much longer, which is why I'm in this cabin in the middle of the woods with people or without people, or it's why I'm on the girls' weekend with girls or without girls, meaning I told my spouse or my partner I'm somewhere, but I'm somewhere completely different, and I'm plotting, planning, and I'm looking to figure out how to exit this relationship that I was in with you and enter a new relationship or get a recycled person. This is what the narcissist thinks. And you may think, that's a little rough. No, it's not. It's what they think. There's no such thing as stability in these relationships. There's no such thing as common ground. There's no such thing as devotion or dedication or adult conversations. All you're going to get from the narcissist is word salad, projection, blaming. We'll talk about it later, and that later will never happen. Things swept under the rug, rage fits, disappearing, ghosting, breaking plans, stealing your things, breaking heirlooms, doors slamming, you being financially abused, you walking around on eggshells, you wasting your weekend wondering where they are, why they're not responding to your text, and why they're not calling you back, and why you're being hung up on every time you call them. All of this goes away once you get the wisdom and you apply the tools and you realize that, yes, Father Time is ticking for all of us, and that, yes, things go sideways for the narcissist way more than you will ever know. And the next thing is that the new supply, I'll talk about them for 15 seconds. The new supply is one of three people. They're either a recycled source of supply, they haven't figured out what narcissism is yet, or they're not strong enough to. Two, they're a clean slate, or three, they're toxic themselves. So any way you cut it, the new supply is either being peppered with abuse or they are peppering the narcissist with abuse. So don't think for one moment that the new supply is living their best life. They aren't. It's impossible. Remember, when you were in the love bomb / euphoric stage, you thought you were living your best life. You thought the roller coaster ride would never end. Well, once the wedding ring was put on your finger, or you relocated, or you went into business, or you told them you loved them, or you had children, or loaned them money or something, that's when everything changed on a dime, just like that. And that will be no different for the new supply. Anyone is replaceable, anyone is expendable, and anyone will be crumbled up like a sheet of paper and thrown away on the behalf of the narcissist if and when they want to do it. That's why you need to maintain your boundaries. You need to get off the grid, off the radar of the narcissist, and go no contact. Having said all these things, why it goes sideways for the narcissist, or when it all falls apart for the narcissist, or when things implode for the narcissist, these things happen way more than you will ever know. They happen in moving cars when the narcissist gets cut off by somebody on the freeway. It happens when they order food, DoorDash or Uber Eats or something, to be delivered to their house and the order is wrong. It happens when they're trying to make an airline reservation and they know that the airline reservation is perfect, but what they want to do is call up somebody, hopefully get a hold of a human being, and blame them or curse them out or yell at them why they didn't get an upgrade, and try and break them down and steal and ruin that person's energy and time till they finally get bumped up to first class. Then they hang up the phone, sit back and say, wow, I feel great. I just got first class ticket and all I had to do was abuse somebody for 3 hours. This is amazing. That's what they think. That's why you need to get away from these people. They don't change. Father Time's ticking for them. Father Time will get them, just the way Father Time will end all of our lives whenever that time's appropriate. And I'm not being morbid, I'm just being factual. Where you're going is a place of abundance. Where you're going is a place that only you know of. Where the narcissist is going, I can't say. It doesn't matter to me. I don't wish ill will upon anybody. I'm not going to start now. What I do know is that they have a big price to pay for all the toxicity they've dumped into people's lives in the past, right now, and in the future. You can't go through life the way they do by destroying people's lives, hopes, dreams, aspirations, goals, health, bank accounts, cities, towns, states, countries, jurisdictions, without there being a huge price to pay. You may call it karma. You may call it whatever you want to. I don't like to use the word karma, but whatever you want to call it. When this comes back to roost and catch up with the narcissist, and it will, you don't want to be anywhere around when that happens. Believe me when I tell you, you want to be as far away from that and as fast as you possibly can, which is why I'm suggesting right now, if you know the person you're considering is toxic and you haven't blocked them, what are you waiting for? Why tempt fate? Why tempt Father Time? Why tempt the dark energy? Seal it airtight, super glue it, gorilla glue it, close the chapter of the book on the narcissist and close every avenue of communication with them. Do it now. What are you waiting for? So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And understand a few things. When it all catches up with the narcissist, number one, you don't want to be around them when it happens. Number two, you shouldn't be peeking or spying on their social media or know anything about them. Number three, if anyone is still giving you communication about the narcissist, even though you've asked them to not inform you about any updates with them, please tell them again. Something like this: hey, I don't want to know. I'm over it. I healed. I don't really care where they are. I don't want to know who they're with, what they're doing, what their hair color is, or how their life is going sideways, or how they're doing great. It means nothing to me. I've already been in this cycle and I'm out and I've healed. I really don't even want to hear their name. Say something like that and get the message. That's when you will really officially help yourself out. Because remember, the more you know about the narcissist, the less good it is for you. The less they know about you, the better off it is for you. Flip it. The more you know about them, the worse it is for you. The more they know about you, the worse it is for you. That's why you need to have a small footprint. Get off the radar of these people and stay away from them. They don't change. They only deteriorate. And this is why it will all come back to roost and get the narcissist once and for all. Again, don't wish ill will upon anybody. I'm not going to start now. I never have. I'm not built that way. I'm an empath. My hope is you are too. But you can't go through life destroying people's lives or trying to, derailing them, sidetracking them, stealing the best years of their life while watching your kids or your stepkids' life be blown up also without there being a big price to pay. And that's what will happen to the narcissist if it hasn't already. I love you all. God bless you. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.